Everybody, welcome once again to hashtag VWE Live here, as I will be your host for the evening, for at least the remainder of the show. The most recognized voice in SL Sports Entertainment today, the voice of Detroit, Natasha Grimmore. And I'm being joined here by Curt Bombastic. And how you doing there, Curt?
Could be better, could be worse, but this Friday, I'm going to be doing pretty good after I destroy the career of Glody Graves.
And that's right, folks, we will be having WrestleSeries here Friday here at the Empire City Coliseum Arena, which where we are right now. And
yeah, I've been walking around this place. This is actually a really nice Coliseum. Jeez.
Isn't it, though? I mean, it's going to be definitely a great change of pace, different, venue. But let's go ahead and, kind of run down a little bit how, the last week of going into WrestleSeries as, on prime time, though, we have Marionetta versus Chloe. We have, these are all been confirmed for WrestleSeries. We have Marionetta versus Chloe. We have Rika Kurahara taking on Viola, and then we have the Bombshell Battle Royale for the Radiance title, I believe.
Yeah, a new championship that's coming in the VWE. That's good. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be like.
As for sure, as we will get on the participants for that Battle Royale a little later. But then we had, Braden Carson taking on William Naples, and William Naples ended up getting over on Braden Carson, which to me was kind of surprising, as the former U.S. champ Braden Carson ended up losing to the former Pulse champion.
You can't underestimate William Naples. He's just too quick on the draw, if you ask me.
That is
cocky.
that is for sure. I mean, that's William Naples. I've called before the Quicksilver of VWE. So I mean, it's really surprising to see that him coming out. Especially, I don't know if his ribs are actually 100%, but at least they are doing well enough to take on such a fierce competitor as Braden Carson.
When it comes to WrestleSeries season, injuries don't matter. You ignore the pain, and because you want that moment.
Well, that is very true, as a lot of people will be having their moment come this Friday. Also, though, at primetime, there was a main event. There was Cody Hooley and Wolfie Kessel taking on Kieran Darkwatch and Vince Easterwood. Now, it's really interesting to see that, because on opposite teams are people that actually had a beef with each other. I mean, we have Wolfie and Kieran, who Kieran said before that, Wolfie was no more than a bathroom break. And then there's that long-standing, feud there between Cody Hooley and the Crusader, Vince Easterwood. And, pretty much at that point, Wolfie and Cody actually got the win. That's not exactly looking good for Vince going into...
It didn't help that Kieran and Vince didn't get along either.
That may be true, but it doesn't look good for the Crusader going into WrestleSeries with that loss underneath him. I mean, is that going to affect his mental state, or is it, I mean, you've known Vince longer than I have. How do you think that's going to affect his mental state going into WrestleSeries?
Vince is ready for WrestleSeries. Trust me, I've had my matches with him. He's got something planned that not even Cody will be able to figure out. Vince is more than ready for WrestleSeries. I think this was just a minor loss. I don't think it's going to affect him in any way. Besides, that's what we saw on Edge. It was quite telling, if you ask me, how ready Vince is. But we'll talk about that pretty soon.
Yes, as we get on to Pulse, how Pulse ran, it was rather interesting to see that Rem Blackheart came out and pretty much said his intentions for the ladder match going in. Also, just kind of a reminder, folks, if you have questions that you want asked on the air, go ahead and tweet to at hashtag VWE Live. and we'll get them not only across the screen, but we'll go ahead and ask them. But Paul, so Red Blackheart did state that he was going to be in the ladder match, but he had some business to take care of with the DIE roster, in the form of Drake Edwards and the Crisis. What did you think about all that whole thing? I mean, the DIE roster coming in to take over
What, this
Colts.
invasion angle that seems to be going on? I don't know what DIE roster has beef with the VWE rosters lately, but it seems that they want to really prove themselves as a superior brand. So I don't
And
know.
that
These guys coming in, VWE is the superior brand if you ask me, but we'll see what these guys can do.
as they did, because as the few weeks before, they came out and attacked both Ren Blackheart and Hamaso during their match, trying to it seemed like they were trying to make a statement, as Rob Crisis got Ren Blackheart in, or the Crisis got Ren Blackheart in his Patient Zero, and Drake Edwards caught Hamaso with his Dragon Rising super kick, and then the leg drop, and then the Tuesday after, Ren actually went over to the DIE show and attacked Rob Crisis, and then this led up to last Thursday on Pulse, where it has some unfinished business. But as the DIE roster came out, Drake Edwards and the Crisis came out. Stewart came out and said that pretty much that he likes the fact that DIE coming in, pretty much bringing it, in my opinion, bringing in new faces and new talent into the yeah, pretty much fresh meat. Um, where they can turn around and actually see what VWE Pulse can do, and but then he said that he announced that there was going to be a fatal 4-way elimination at WrestleSeries for the Pulse Championship.
Which
As
should be
Ren,
good. Yeah,
go
that
ahead.
should be very interesting, actually.
As it so far it is, there's Knight in there, and then he stated that Hamaso beating Knight on the previous week got him his spot there in the four way, as well as Chris Crossfade. Well, no, I'm sorry. We'll get on that in a second. As because Chris Crossfade was actually on Edge as well, whereas needed that fill in that third spot. So he ended up, as Stuart Wharf, as brilliant as he is, turns around and sets up both members of DIE in a match against each other for a chance at WrestleSeries for the Pulse Championship, and turn around and they had in my opinion, an amazing match, and turn around though, as the Crisis is going to be going to WrestleSeries as, I guess, for the Pulse Championship, is, I guess, the representative for DIE. How do you feel about that there, Kurt?
That Crisis guy ain't right. There's something weird or not right in the head about him. Uh, he seems to enjoy all the punishment he gets, and he gets a lot of punishment. Trust me.
And I mean, but it's a thing. How do you feel about actual, like, our brother Fed, a member of our brother Fed, going into WrestleSeries and possibly winning the Pulse Championship? I mean, I know that he's the underdog in this,
Well,
but
it would be a first for SR Wrestling, wouldn't it? Basically having somebody from another promotion coming in to win another promotion's championship, and going back to the promotion to defend it and stuff like that. I think that would be a first for SR Wrestling. So it'd be
uh,
interesting if he can do it.
and that's going to be the big question on the if. As on Edge, though, Chris Crossway took on Vander Jackson to win that last spot in a fatal 4-way, on Edge, and that right there was a Chris Crossfade is definitely one of the most interesting people on the DIE
Perhaps the
roster.
perhaps the most unique and best character gimmick in SR Wrestling going on today. And
I mean, he's
apparently you're still new.
Yeah, well, I don't understand it, but then again, I don't spend so much time on the internet as Myra does. Myra seems to love his little gimmick, but I mean, even the fans love it. So that's definitely going to be, taking into consideration, you know, how much support he's going to have going into the WrestleSeries.
Oh, like that guy's
But
got like an underground support that keeps growing and growing. It seems it's interesting to watch.
very much so. But as the show started, though, we had the contract signing for Jeffrey Fireguard and Derek Holt for their match at WrestleSeries, where Jeffrey has put his contract pretty much on the line, so to speak, where he's allowing, if he loses, he's allowing Austin to take control of this contract. I think that's a risky move on his part.
Yeah,
Whereas,
I think that's a planned move on Austin Knight's part. Derek is he's hungry. He wants that win. You know, I've known Derek. He's my former tag team partner, one of my currently one of my best friends. The guy is ready. He's hungry. He wants that Wrestle Series win. He lost last year to me. So he's you know he's more focused and more determined. He's no longer weak, as I used to call him, because he smelled the coffee. I think that they've lured Jeffrey into a trap here. I think Jeffrey's career is in trouble.
well, as though the Misfit himself has got a lot of backing from the fans, but as at the contract signing, after they signed the contracts, though, Derek tried attacking Jeffrey Fireguard.
He actually was successful.
Not necessarily, as Derek did find himself outside the ring. As Jeffrey ended up, ducking underneath that elbow. A little bit too much momentum there took Derek out of the ring. He now faced Austin Knight, which has a long-standing, which they don't really like each other. There's a long-standing hatred between the two of them, and it looked like Jeffrey was ready to lay out Austin, but Derek was able to recover quick enough and catch him with that elbow to the back of the head, laying him out, and then picked him up, and Austin delivered the pedigree to the Misfit and laying him out.
Jeffrey took his eyes off the prize for a moment, and that's all Derek needed. That's why I think Derek will go over at WrestleSeries. Jeffrey's too distracted. He wants to get his revenge on Austin Knight as well. That's the problem.
Well, we'll see what really happens at WrestleSeries with that. But then also on Edge, there was, since Easterwood taking on Benja, and Vince ended up winning that matchup.
And this is like he made Benja tap out. That's not easy. I know. I've made him tap out, and I had to go through barbed wire hell to do that.
Well, I mean, you look at it as Vince has definitely gotten a little. He's adapted the nickname Crusader to AT, at least in my opinion, because of the fact of the matter is he is now the #1 contender. He's got to step up his game, and he's been doing so even before Elimination Royale, where he won the #1 contendership and the right to face Cody Hooley at WrestleSeries. He's been slowly stepping up his game, but now he's got to step it up a whole new level, and apparently he's been doing that.
As I said, Vince is ready for WrestleSeries. Like I said, I've been in the ring with him. I tried to defeat him. He's got this. He stepped up his game. He's got a certain edge to him now. He is more than ready for Cody Hooley.
Going into the main event, there was Brie Kurhara taking on Maxine, a member of the sorority, and to pick the stipulation for her match against Viola, the VWE World Women's Champion at WrestleSeries, and Rhea turned around and actually won that and made it pick the stipulation right there after the match. Couldn't wait for the stipulation actually said that she was going to have, I believe, a cage match.
Yeah, that's one way to keep the sorority out, but she won by knockout, if you remember.
Yeah, I mean that right there was, especially next was definitely a hard feat. And both of them are veterans in this business, and both of them know each other. I would believe relatively well because I can't believe that her and Marie have not this was not the first time that they've actually faced each other, whether in this promotion or another promotion, whichever the case may be. They recognize they know each other, and Maxine has watched. Maxine's a thing, so she's watched her style, but still to be caught off guard for a knockout, that right there was a feat on its.
You gotta Ray is a very dangerous wrestler. I've always been a big fan of her. Watching her wrestle, watching her progress through the VWE and other places. She's I don't know. She's going into the WrestleSeries. I think she's got the advantage, especially in the you trap Ray in a cage. Ray Kerr, the Mistress of the Mist, in a cage where she can knock you out and just have her way with you. Yeah, that's not good.
So that right there, folks, has been the week's recap. Now we're gonna go ahead and go on to pretty much just Curt. You've been going on your little predictions as we go on, but let's go ahead and go across through the Russell Series card, so that way we can actually get a full extent. My predictions as well as yours through Wrestle Series as we have the lineup of we have Marionetta taking on Chloe in a Trickster's Gift Factory match. I have no idea what that really is.
You and me both. Again, Marionetta with these unique, weird matches that she's known to do for like big events. Who's going to go over in this match? You have to give it to Marionetta because she's the one who knows she's the only one who knows the rules for this, apparently.
So you can't take away from the fact though she does know the rules, but you can't. As much as I down her for her not being a yellow crayon, so to speak, but I can't take anything away, let alone her adaptability to whatever is thrown at her of Chloe Valentine. And she's able to adapt, and I have never said anything bad about her ability in the ring. Never once. She is a great wrestler. But just something of just whether you call it naivety, whether you call it stupidity, innocence, whatever you feel, Chloe is an awesome wrestler, and her ability to adapt to whatever she's in is uncanny.
I take nothing away from Chloe, but still, there's still that element of unknown with Marionetta. Marionetta is the only one who knows what's going on. So,
well, I mean, that's going to be the thing of that's going to be going into this is
it's going to be an interesting match, that's for sure.
Yes.
We'll see how this goes about. That's I think everybody's going to be watching on this one. It's going to be entertaining. That's one thing we could really be certain of.
As then we have the fatal 4-way elimination, where we have the Crisis taking on Hamaso, taking on Knight, taking on Chris Crossfade. What is your prediction? Who's going to come out on top and the champion that night?
Knight has been on a roll lately. He has really gone into his game. He's got Jessica as manager now. Me and Jessica has parted ways for it was a mutual thing. But if you ask me, as much as Rob Crisis is good, as much as Hamaso is good, I've been in the ring with Hamaso. I haven't been in the ring with the other three. Chris Crossfade actually has this match, if you ask me. I think he's got everything going his way, and I think he just might pull off the win and become the new Pulse champion.
Well, as going on, we do have a lot of unpredictable. With the crisis, we have extremely unpredictable, things that are going on. At least here at VWE. His whole style is unorthodox. He calls himself the Plague personified. He's looking to affect. He's looking to free people, but which leads into, I mean, like you said, there's something wrong with him. There's something mentally off about him, and that leads to a lot of unpredictability. But with that unpredictability, also comes with a whole lot of, how do you say, mistakes that can be made.
Exactly.
Where
Tommaso wants to prove himself. He wants to prove that he's one of the top stars coming up in the VWE, and he's got the ability to do it. But again, I think Knight he seems to have that be a step ahead of Tommaso at every turn.
And you think, though, I mean, that's the thing about it, is they've had a feud going on. So it's just basically the fact of the matter is Tommaso might be focusing on getting revenge on Knight compared to trying to keep his eye on the prize. When it comes down to Chris Crossfade, I mean, great. He's got great support. He's an awesome wrestler. He's got great support from the crowd. But like you said, Knight's on a roll, and he has Jessica there on his side. So honest, and seeing what we've seen before, Jessica's going to make sure that Knight keeps the title. So I'm thinking that Knight will end up winning this, and pretty much eliminating everybody with the help of Jessica.
Well, Jessica's definitely going to play a role in this, but I still think Chris. There's just something about Chris that says he's going to walk away with this victory. Whether he walks away with the championship, that's an interesting question now.
All right, next is going to be kind of a tough one to call, as we have you taking on Ludi Graves. So, I mean, obviously, I know your prediction on this, obviously. So, but what are your feelings about this match?
I'm going to maim Ludi. I'm going to destroy him. I'm going to ruin his career. He's not even going to have a career. He wants to do this to come back to the VWE. If he wins, he gets a contract back in the VWE. I'm going to make sure that never, ever happens again, especially after the way he treated me years ago.
Well, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what exactly is we'll go ahead and cover that, because we'll cover that later, because I do have a few questions for you, but we're going to have to get through this. Whereas, my prediction is I have never seen Ludi wrestle, so I have no idea what he's capable of. You do. I don't.
He's not that good.
So, but you guys are gonna have full reign of this arena, as I believe it's a Fall Count Anywhere match.
That just puts the favor in my corner. That means I can use anything I want, basically. If I see you at ringside commentating, I could use you as a weapon, and then pin Ludi up against the wall if I wanted to.
Dear God, I hope that doesn't happen. For my own safety. And next, though, we have the Bombshell Battle Royale for the Radiance Championship, where we have Brooke Owens. I believe the entrants are Brooke Owens, Christina Krovac, Hillary Lanfear, Aphrodite,
Maxine, Alexa, Crystal, I think is in this, Randy Patel, and a couple others.
Killia, Bellatrix, and Becky.
Oh yes, the former cheerleader, Becky.
So, what is your predictions on this one? Because, I see already a couple names that would be fit for this, and a couple people that are, not fit for this. So, who do you think is going to come out on top during this Battle Royale?
This is a tough one to call, because there's a lot of good talent in this. I'm a huge fan of Christina Krovac. I think everybody knows that. Hillary will probably get the get distracted by the commentator desk out there, WrestleSeries, as she always does. Maxine is well, just Maxine. You know, she's that veteran that's waiting for her opportunity. I think just to have more championship gold. But it's a tough one to call, but something's telling me that Brooke Owens might walk away with this.
Which is very, very interesting to really
She's
see
been on a roll
because,
lately.
well, and I still want to say, I'm partial to, Christina Krovac. I mean, obviously, everybody can tell that, if they ever see the shows, that I'm a huge fan of Christina Krovac. And I have to agree with you. The good doctor needs to set up Hillary and the comm table for a little one-on-one to get this, to really get this taken care of. As we go through, as definitely there's Maxine Alexandra is another good competitor for this. So, but
That's
I'm
a team that's in the battle royal right there.
exactly. So I mean, we're going through, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go with my favorite, whether that be biased or whatever. But I'm gonna have to go with Christina Krovac on this one. And next, though, there's the ladder match for the #1 contendership for the world title, as we will see Ren Blackheart, Braden Carson, Wolfie Kessel, Kieran Darkwire, Josh Pafo, William Naples, and a mystery opponent going in a ladder match for this. Now, who is your favorite in this matchup, and who do you think is going to win?
I have no idea. I can't predict that. A lot of matches have always, they're always unpredictable. So this is going to be it's going to be an interesting match. Braden's been on a roll. He got the count out win. Well, I just didn't care about the match because I was looking for Ludi the last week. But he's been on a roll lately, and I think he got a good chance of winning this. But I actually cannot predict who's going to win this match.
Well, I will honestly, I think Braden will come out on top on this one. I mean, he's been coming out, ego aside, very talented wrestler. Like you said, he's been on a roll. But I'm also kind of stuck between him and Wolfie Kessel, as during this whole thing, he's finally taking things serious. He's gotten out of that feral form of his, and I mean, Kieran seems to spark some life back into him. And he's actually finally taking this serious.
Can't take anything away from Josh Pafo either. He wants that championship back.
That's also true. But then you can't forget that William Naples is kind of his forte, these extreme matches where ladders. I mean, exactly. And he came up and did that Elevation X. So there's going to be a lot of possibilities of who's going to win that #1 contendership, but my money is either on Braden or Wolfie Kessel. I mean, I'd have to split my bids up between those two.
Well, we're gonna have to see that for sure.
And now, next match will be Derek Colt with Austin Knight taking on the Misfit Jeffrey Fireguard, and a Derek Colt dungeon match. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see because there's a lot of heat there between, Derek Colt and, as Jeffrey Fireguard once stated before, proud student of Derek Colt. But, how is that going to take effect? Because I already know you said Derek is going to kind of take this match. But how do you think
Jeffrey's going to be too distracted with trying to get his hands on Austin Knight. Austin Knight's going to be the factor in this. And besides, can Jeffrey survive the dungeon? I survived the dungeon. But can Jeffrey do it? I don't think so.
And do you think that the whole thing with the master, kind of like the teacher-student kind of relationship that, Derek Colt and Jeffrey Fireguard have, I mean, he stated he was a proud student of Derek Colt. Do you think that's still going to take an effect on this?
Derek Colt taught Jeffrey everything he knew. Well, everything that Jeffrey knows, but not everything that Derek knows. That's the thing.
And I'm sure that there's some tricks that Derek didn't teach him that Jeffrey has came up with as well. But nonetheless, these two will know each other, at least the basics, very well, seeing how Derek taught Jeffrey everything that he knows. So for me, it's kind of a hard one, but I do have to agree that Derek Holt will get this because of the fact of Austin Knight playing a factor, because it's technically 2-on-1 if you look at it in Jeffrey's eyes. And with the numbers game, in past, as far as I'm aware, Jeffrey hasn't panned so well because he has to then switch focus. But then again, that was back when he was a kid. I don't know how the Misfit is going to handle the numbers game as it is.
Well, Misfit is the most popular wrestler in the VWE right now. But I still have to give this, in a match like this, you can't take away the fact that Derek is just too hungry. Plus, Derek, this is his match. It's his dungeon match. So, he knows this like the back of his hand. Will Jeffrey survive? I don't see it. I just can't see it.
Well, then moving on to the co-main event, Rei Kurihara taking out Viola Beaumont for the Women's World Championship match in a steel cage. Now, going into this is Viola has been known to be ruthless, and this does not allow the sorority to intervene. Now, as Rei Kurihara has been on her own, this will be a chance to see here and for Rei to get kind of revenge and take out all that frustration on the sorority for everything they've done for her.
You're trapping a dangerous, pissed off woman in a steel cage. The odds aren't good. I'm a fan of Viola. I take nothing away from her. She deserves to be the women's world champion. But I think her reign is going to come to an end when it comes to this match. You're trapping Rei Kurihara, probably the most dangerous woman in SL Wrestling today, in a steel cage. That just spells disaster.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I mean, as we all know, you would know better, Curt, than I would, but anger can be helpful and can be disastrous in a match. And I think though Rei Kurihara has too much anger built up because of what the sorority has done. So now turn around and going into this cage match, she's going to be blinded. She's going to make mistakes. Viola is very calculated, is a thinker, just like Maxine. She's going to exploit that mistake and actually retain her title. I mean, as dangerous as Rei Kurihara is, we have the adaptability and the thinking of Viola Beaumont. Rei's going to make a mistake. And when she does, Viola's going to be there to capitalize. That's my opinion. Viola's going to retain due to the fact of if it wasn't for that whole anger.
I don't think so. I think Ray's going to channel that anger into the proper form and just. It's not going to be pretty. We might see Viola carried out on the stretcher after this one.
No, we're definitely going to have to find out Friday, as our other co-main event is Cody Hooley versus the Crusader Vince Easterwood in a 2 out of 3 falls for the VWE World Heavyweight Championship. And there's going to be a lot there. I mean, Cody Hooley is a success story, regardless of his mental state. As he's come back from a broken back, a year out of VW, coming back, and within a year, definitely coming in to being the World Heavyweight Championship. But then we have Vince Easterwood, who's been kind of sidetracked with all his crusades, and now he seems to be focused on the World Heavyweight Championship.
But has it been sidetracked, or has it all accumulated into this one moment at WrestleSeries, though? That's the thing.
And that is the question. Vince is the human calculator. He calculates everything together to where it could be more than matches. I mean, where he's 11 steps ahead of his opponent, he might be, thought of a long way to get there, and like you said, accumulate up to this point. And who do you think's going to win, though?
As I've been saying, I think Vince has got this. He's more focused. He's more determined. He's ready for WrestleSeries. I don't think Cody is exactly. He's not prepared for what Vince has in store for him for WrestleSeries, and especially when you consider the best 2 out of 3 falls match. You're definitely going the distance, and Vince has been known to go the distance.
Well, honestly, the thing about with Cody Lee, especially with his mental state, thinking that he's God, definitely will turn around and, bring some sort of unpredictability within this, and ruthlessness, as we've seen going in. As, honestly, I think that ruthlessness and unpredictability is going to be a little much for the human calculator. And honestly, I think Cody Lee, as much as I hate to say this, Cody Lee is going to retain. But, folks, you're going to have to find out come this Friday at WrestleSeries VIII on next Friday on the 9th at 4 p.m. SLT. As well as, folks, there is a 10,000 Linden giveaway for, courtesy of our friends at Brockman Industries. So, especially going throughout that show. So, folks, you definitely need to be here for that. Watching the show. And, I mean, who's going to argue with free Lindens all the way around?
Well, definitely.
So, now, folks, we're going to get into, Curt, we're going to get into the interview segment with you. And, folks, if you have any questions, go ahead and tweet them to hashtag VWE Live. And that way they can come across the screen and we can go ahead and ask your questions to Curt Bombastic. Now, Curt, I know that you and Ludi do have a long standard, hatred, so to speak, for each other. Like, where did that really start? What is yours and Ludi's?
Years ago in the old XWA, Ludi was at the top of his game. He was a little chummy with top management then. And he screwed me every opportunity because he was jealous of me. He saw me as the rising star. Let's face it, he knew what was going on. I was the rising star. I was the man who was about to take over. And he screwed me in every opportunity. And Ludi has been jealous of me ever since.
Okay, so this goes on too, and this is coming from, one of our fans is, Curt, what do you think about Ludi Graves after the last show at VWE?
A coward. Ludi showed what he's well known for. He's nothing but a little coward. I mean, the man ducked under the desk to avoid me. I was ready to beat the crap out of him. And when it comes to this Friday, I'm gonna end his career. I'm gonna break every damn bone in his body. So after this Friday, he's gonna be a dead man.
Well, that goes off to answer my next question. But definitely going to be interesting going into. I mean, did you, how long did you expect the attacks that Ludi Graves did on you?
No one expected that. Who would expect Ludi Graves after all these years to start having to beef with me and start attacking me? Of course I didn't expect that. What are you, a stupid idiot or something?
Well, I mean, you got to really. That's the thing with your guys' hatred. I mean, unless you just sat here and forgot about him, talking about, these attacks, you just kind of put him in the back of your mind. But at some point,
Ludi's looking to be relevant again. That's the thing is, that's probably why he attacked me, because he sees that I'm on top of my game and he's no longer relevant. He hasn't been relevant in 6 years. So he wants to make a name for himself. He wants to get that former glory again.
Well, going in, I mean, have you taken any special training, or obviously you're going to be training for this match right here, but any type of mental or physical training that you may have taken within this match, to prepare for this match at WrestleSeries against Ludi?
Oh, I've been training. Trust me, I've got my own special training regimen. But for Ludi, I've been waiting for this match for years to finally get my hands on Ludi Graves and destroy the man. I've been wanting to do this so bad.
Now, as we have a question from Twitter, going, how do you feel only a few days away from the biggest match and your biggest loss you'll ever be in? And apparently it's from, once again,
I wonder who that's
from.
You're a little too confident, aren't you, Ludi? That's the problem. That's the problem going in this match. You think that you're going to win. Everybody who has predicted a win over me has lost. Everybody. You're just one of the million, Ludi. I'm going to break every damn bone and then break your neck with the irresistible ending. And all you'll have left is your little pitiful excuses.
Well then, definitely going to be interesting to see, but kind of sidetrack a little bit about, all that, especially for those that are watching that don't know, like, your history. I mean, what are your accomplishments here in VWE?
I was the first VWE Tag Team champion here. I'm the best wrestler in the VWE. I helped build this place.
Kind of paved the road, so to speak, for wrestlers like Knight and William Naples. Am I correct?
Exactly.
And honestly, I think that paved road has definitely, you paving the road there for these wrestlers are definitely from, definitely well deserved and should be recognized, honestly. And from, once again, from the YouTube chat, we got a question. How does it feel to worship a god like Cody Hooley?
Are you kidding me? Really?
I can't even believe that question.
See, I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in Cody Hooley. So obviously Cody Hooley doesn't exist, especially since it's the fact that I had him defeated. I had him ready. It would actually be me versus Vince Eastwood at WrestleSeries for the world title if it wasn't for Ludi Graves a couple of Fridays ago.
Oh man, we know where that one came from. But now we got another question from Twitter going, Curt, if by some small chance Ludi manages to get the contract to VWE, where do you see the future of VWE with Ludi Graves in it?
In the shitter. If there's just a slight possibility that he could win, I see VWE going to the shitter. But trust me, even if he does get a victory, which he won't, I won't rest until that man is destroyed and out of the VWE.
Yeah, I don't know Ludi Graves as well as you do, but it seemed like he does have a mouth on him.
People say, people say that I was scum. I accept that, but he's the worst of the worst. Trust me.
Well, I guess we're all gonna get, if he does win, win that contract to VWE, I guess we're all going to be. I'm just saying if. I'm not saying when. I'm saying if, he does win, we're gonna find out what it is, what's gonna be like with a future with Ludi Graves in it. But now it's, it's funny when you mention that you may pave the road for these, like future superstars and everything. And kind of, I want to try to get into, who Curt Bombastic is, for the fans watching and those that may not know you, that may not see you. I mean, you seem to be full support, always out in the crowd watching, for your next target, to study. I mean, do you ever just come here and watch the matches for fun, or are you constantly watching and studying,
I'm a wrestler.
possible future opponents?
I'm always scouting for possible future opponents. You never know who could be next match. I am a wrestler, pure and simple. I'm the best damn wrestler on the planet, and in SL wrestling today. There are lots of people who claim it, but I back it up every time I'm in the ring. I take that with a lot of pride, and I take that with a lot of seriousness.
Which I can tell by watching your matches. I mean, you come in and you dissect your opponents. I mean, that's given. I've watched you dissect quite a few people, win or loss in the match. They make sure they remember the name, Curt Bombastic. Even I can't forget Curt Bombastic after the few slaps you've given me. In either case, it is definitely, I mean, but do you have fun? That's the thing, or are you constantly preparing yourself for the next opponent? There, here at VWE. I mean,
I go into every match to give my fans, and I know I've got some fans out there. It doesn't really matter to me, but I know I got some fans out there. But I go out there to give them the show of a lifetime.
and with that's the kind of mindset that, I mean, do you feel that's what every wrestler should have?
Of course. We're out there to entertain the fans.
Oh, we got another. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say we've got another question from from Twitter. Curt, how does it feel to be in the shadows of the German sensation for over 6 years now?
Gee, I wonder who that's from.
Hashtag Team Awesome.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. You can tell Ludi's jealous over me. You can tell Ludi's jealous over the success I've had. I struggled for 4 years to get back to the VWE. Because of him screwing me. He fired me on the very first VWE show because he was just simply jealous of me. So how does it feel to be in the shadow of the irresistible one? That's what you've been for 6 years now, Ludi. I think that should be the better question.
Well, seeing how you have been here and Ludi hasn't, I should be the best. I have to agree with you. That is the better question. But Ludi has been. It seems whoever this his
jealous of me.
But his fans at hashtag Team Awesome still seem otherwise.
What, him and his mom?
Well, I mean, that could be his mom. I don't know for sure. Just saying that, I mean, him and his fans, whoever that may be, whether it be his mom or, Joe Schmo down the street, it seems like he has fans, even if it is his mom. Fan is a fan, even if it's family.
That's his only fan. And she's barely a fan, trust me.
So, now, definitely going into this, I know you said that you've done you've done training, you've kept up on training, you're staying in physical condition especially for this match, even though that you pushing yourself further is what I'm assuming than what you normally do for this match. How long do you think you're going to be in this match? I mean, you're saying that Ludi isn't that good. So my question is how long?
Compared to me, he's not that good. How long do I think it's going to be? Do I think I'm going to be in this match? Look, I'm not an idiot. I know this match is going to be a brutal match. It's going to be physically towing. We're going to be battling all over this arena. We're going to both use everything we get our hands on.
As Ludi does seem to be the type to find equalizers and try to and implement them.
The problem is, you mix in my striking, which is still audibly stronger than the Derek Cult's, it's checkmate. My feet, my arms, my knees, my elbows, they'll further tear through the body and extremities of Ludi Graves until he can't move. It'll be like surgery. It'll be precise and meticulous.
All right. As we have several questions from the YouTube chat. Somebody asks, Curt, are you ever going to retire so the German sensation can take your place?
No. Why would I allow scum like that to take my place? Nobody can take my place.
Well, I feel that nobody should be able to take anybody's place but fill their own shoes and take their own place. That's just me, though. But then we got another question going, how long have you been wrestling on SL, Curt?
I think, let's see, oh geez, yeah, we're going on WrestleSeries VIII now. I remember the very first WrestleSeries. I think I've been on the SL for about a little over 9 years now, and going on 8 years in SL wrestling. A little over 8 years, actually. I've been doing this for quite a while.
A lot longer than I've been commentating, that's for sure. So then we've got a comment from somebody saying that you're just mad because your fans aren't here. Well, I mean I mean that's fine. I mean, you will always have a fan in me, no matter how much truth I speak. But Curt, I've always been a fan of yours.
I've got my fans, but it doesn't matter to me whether they boo me or cheer me, as long as they're reacting. That's all I care about. Am I mad because my fans aren't here? Not really. It doesn't affect the outcome of the match.
Well, folks, Curt, thank you very much for taking your time to being here with me and answering my questions along with questions of the fans.
No problem. Folks, I'm glad to be here.
But nonetheless, folks, we're going to wrap it up. But be here for sure on Friday, the 9th at 4 p.m. SLT for WrestleSeries. And we will, where we will have a hell of a show. You will see Curt here taking on Ludi, let alone all the other matches that we were talking about. We've got the Tricksters Gift Factory match against Marionetta and Chloe. We have a fatal four-way for the Pulse Championship with The Crisis, Tommaso, Knight, and Chris Crossfade. We have a bombshell battle royale, a ladder match for #1 contendership for the world title. We have Derek Cole and Austin Knight taking on the Misfit, Jeffrey Fireguard. And the two co-main events, we have Ree Kurihara taking on Viola Beaumont in a steel cage for the Women's World Championship match. And we have Cody Hooley and Vince Easterwood. Best 2 out of 3 falls for the VWE World Heavyweight Championship. You don't want to miss a thing. We also have events coming up all week, so stay tuned for those. And we will definitely see you guys here in the upcoming week. And who knows, if you come to all the events, you might see me, you might see Curt. You might see some other VWE superstars, so make sure you stay tuned and be here for all those events, especially here at the Empire Coliseum Arena for WrestleSeries VIII. So until then, folks, I've been the most recognized voice in SL Sports Entertainment today, the voice of Detroit, Natas Grimore.
And I'm in Curt Bombastic, the irresistible one.
And we will see you guys here at WrestleSeries.